Hello, everyone. Let's talk today about this guy, Ernest Hemingway, and his short story, Hills Like White Elephants. One thing about Hemingway is he's a bit of a minimalist when he writes. And what that means is he really only tells you the bare minimum of what you need to know. It's called an iceberg tip theory. So if you think of an iceberg, he's telling you just that tip, not everything else, which makes his writing both intriguing and fun, but also at times a bit confusing and difficult. So, Hills Like White Elephants is one of those stories that it's complex, and at a first read through, you're often left wondering, wait, what just happened? So, let's talk about that and the plot and the theme and analyze a bit of this story. You have these two people, the American and the girl, who's also referred to as Jig. And here they are traveling, and they've stopped at in Spain at a train station. And they're sitting down outside of a bar having small talk that leads to a bit more of an in-depth conversation on this operation for Jig. And the man keeps referring to it as this simple operation. Um, Everything will go back to the way it was before once you get it done, and how he truly thinks that she needs to do it. Um, it's perfectly simple. It's awfully simple. It's not really even an operation at all, according to him. He's also going to stay with her the whole time. And then afterwards, they'll be happy because that's the only thing that bothers us. He never refers to anything about her health or her being sick. So we can assume it's not something to cure an illness that she has. Um, but he also says she doesn't have to do it. And she's a bit conflicted here. She doesn't seem quite on board to want to jump in and do this. So it's an optional operation. Um, at one point, he says, it's just to let the air in, which should connect us to an abortion. But again, we have to take in context the time period. He published this in 1927. So here he is encouraging her to have a simple operation, which was not so simple in 1927. It posed a danger to the mother, possible death, infection. It was also illegal. So the woman's a bit more conflicted, and she asks, "You really want to do this?" So she's giving him some control over the decision, and he's completely for it. He says he's perfectly willing to go through with it if it means anything to you. Um, and he also constantly connects it back to, well, it's your decision. But I think it would be very simple. It would make things better. So he is truly making a connection that his decision is to have this done, even though she's conflicted. And at no point are her thoughts or considerations taken in. Finally, at the end, he says, I don't want anyone but you. I don't want anyone else. Which kind of makes it clear that there will be someone else unless she goes and does this operation. Other connections that we can see towards this being an abortion would be things like the hills like white elephants. White elephants is a symbol. Remember, any object that comes up repeatedly in a short story or a novel or a poem is going to connect to it being a symbol. So, white elephants have multiple meanings. One of them is like a white elephant sale. It's something that you don't want anymore. So, for that consideration, an unwanted item would also be pointing out that he doesn't want it. Um, Hills like white elephants, the girl comments, and he said, he says he's never seen one, and she says, no, you wouldn't have. So if the hills represent female fertility, like a swollen stomach or enlarged breasts, she could be suggesting that he's not the type of person to intentionally want to see that or have a child. In Thailand, the king there would bestow a gift of a white elephant on a member who displeased him. The white elephant was considered sacred, so on the surface, it was an honor. However, maintaining the elephant would be so expensive and difficult, it would ruin the recipient. So again, we see a connection to the white elephant being a burden there. Looking at themes here, we have a huge connection of talking versus communication. The story is primarily a conversation between these two people, but they don't really communicate with each other. He never listens to what her thoughts are. She truly wants him, it seems, to say, it's okay, have the baby, we'll make it work. But he never says that. At one point, she finally says she'll just do it because she doesn't care about herself, to make him happy. And the more he persists, she's begging him, like, please, just stop talking. All of this ties into him pressuring or encouraging her to do something that she is not quite ready to make the decision to do. Change is another theme. Pregnancy is a turning point in this relationship. And now she has to either make a decision of going through and having the baby, which her life will change, or going through this operation, which will also change her life. Hence, we're at this train station. And at the train station, people are kind of coming and going back and forth. Similarly, this woman is deciding which direction her life will take. Another connection to symbolism are the two sides of the valley. Symbolically, they parallel the woman's decision as well. One side is hot with no shade or trees. The other side has grain, trees, a river, a cloud. So one side is very sterile, while the other is fertile. Main point of this story is a decision over an abortion, a man feeling one way, and encouraging, possibly manipulating this woman to jump on board and feel the same way. At the end, we don't even know if the couple has reached an understanding with each other. They don't really seem to have come to a clear conclusion. It's possible the woman has made a decision, but she doesn't share it. It ends with the man having another drink and the woman talking to him about how everything tastes of licorice, especially all the things you waited so long for. Kind of suggests that the looking at things and trying new drinks connection. The fact that he ordered a licorice flavored drink could suggest he wants life to continue as it is. This is consistent with how he's argued for the operation. But the woman's final statement is, I feel fine. There's nothing wrong with me. I feel fine. Could be sarcastic because we don't really see her as being fine. She's on the way to Madrid to have an operation that she seems to be forced into having. So there's really no indication that they're on the same page. It seems they'll continue as they are right through the operation, with the woman passively resisting and trying to guilt the man into changing his mind, but his feelings seem pretty set. So, and ending with that, think to yourself, hills like white elephants. What is Hemingway saying? What is he saying about communication, about an abortion in that time period, about change? Hope that helped you kind of put this in perspective and have a little bit stronger of an understanding of the story.